Now friends, we are into the editorial section, and the first editorial talks about the social contract into the times of crisis. First of all, social contract is the most prominent political theory of the statecraft. Now guys, this theory has been perfected over the course of centuries by various philosophers and thinkers such as Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau, but the most prominent and the precursor is Hobbes, and he has written extensively about social contract in his book Leviathan. Now guys, just before going into the social contract, I will give you a background in which the social contract was established. See, this was the 17th century, and at this point of time there were two opposing political philosophies, and the entire society is divided in favor of one. Now guys, the first is the theory of divine rights of the king, where it was said that the king is the representation of God on the earth, and by his virtue, his stature, he demands the complete submission of the entire society of all the people. But on to the other hand, there was the new democratic movement which has started, and the proponent of the democratism who believed that king doesn't has any such superiority over the subjects, rather king is equally accountable to the state as well as people. So guys, here the Hobbes decided to make a compromise, and he said that the modern society is an outcome of twin arrangements. On one hand, citizens are giving up their absolute freedom to the state so that the individual freedom can be curtailed for the common good, so that state can make law which are to be abided by the citizen. But in return, the state also makes a promise to the citizen that it will never abuse its power and will work only for the welfare of the citizen. And guys, in this particular way, even our modern societies work. But over and over, a debate reignites that it is a time that we should reconsider the social contract, because many a times it has been said that democratically elected governments have failed to deliver onto their promises. They had failed to recognize the rights of the citizens, and therefore this entire dynamic of the allegiance and counter allegiance needs to be reconsidered, whether it is fulfilling its utility or not. Now, this entire thing will be understood better. Guys, I'll tell you certain themes which are going right now into the world. See, first of all, now the people have realized the importance of freedom of speech and expression, and now they are demanding even more freedoms for their fullest development. Second theme is that nowadays it has been seen that governments are consolidating their power, and into the name of preserving the welfare of all, they are seeking more and more executive power and are implementing every type of laws into the people. But now you tell that on one hand, when more freedom are being asked, and on to the other hand, government wants to consolidate more power, will there will be a kind of a cooperation between two? No, there will be not. And often we see that the conflict between the civil societies, NGOs, activists, and various other people and government is seen. Take the example of the student protest, take the example of the CAA protest, and all these kind of things. And now here we will introduce the third element. See guys, into the time of a crisis or into the time of present pandemic, people are willing to give all their freedom to the government so that government can preserve them. For example, now peoples are not having that much apprehensions against the state surveillance, against the abuse of privacy, against the intrusion of government in their own private lives. So we can see that into the time of crisis, government further consolidates its power into the name of common good or into the name of preserving the welfare of entire society. But guys, it starts a precedence where the social contract is hugely subverted into the favor of state, and state becomes even more powerful, and when it becomes powerful, it defies even the basic welfare of the citizen, and this has been seen into the disregard of the migrant rights, where they were not given any accessibility to the resources and the conditions for a dignified life. and they were even forced to walk for hundreds and thousands of kilometers because state failed to come for their rescue. Moreover, friends, the present structure not only shows the government failure, rather it also reflects the huge inequalities that have been created into the society. Into the wake of pandemic, we had seen that our country is divided in two parts. On one hand, there is India, which can follow the social distancing, the hygiene norms, and can wear the masks in order to contain the contagion. Whereas on to the other hand, there is Bharat, where still social distancing is a luxury and maintenance of hygiene is still a distant dream. So guys, these inequalities again raises a question, that was this the purpose for which the social contract was made? Rather, it was made on an expectation that a society of equal rights, equal freedom, and common welfare will be established. So, guys, it is said that now there is a high time that the social contract needs to be rewritten. State needs to be realized that what was its actual role, and in this particular direction, the efforts from two hands needs to become. There should be the self-realization by the state, and the centralization which is being carried into the welfare of the people should not be followed. Moreover, the people should also come forward and realize that what was their role into the one half of the social contract. They were to be the active votaries into this process, but they have surrendered their entire power. So friends, at last there is a need that the Leviathan needs to be revisited. The empowered population needs to raise a voice against the subversion of the social contract and the need to rewrite it again. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll move to next.